She started charging $1 a minute for access. That is pretty insane because even if you get like, I don't know how big her following is, but let's just say she has 1,000 people. That's almost $1,000 a minute if they're all using it at the same time. That'd be pretty massive, 72K in the first week. There's an old saying that every spreadsheet template is a startup waiting to be built. Or I'm sure you've heard about how the Craigslist homepage spun off countless startups. These trends may be obvious in retrospect, but what about future startups? What early signals do we have about which companies need to be built? Early signals usually show themselves with a few key indicators. One, users may be forcing a tool to do something that it's not meant for. Or two, users putting up with friction in a process because they got so much value. With the introduction of ChatGPT, we started to see a ton of unique workflows that OpenAI nor really anybody else would have guessed would have come around. Sam Altman has a quote that I particularly love to describe this phenomenon. I'll let him describe it.
The collective intelligence and ability of the outside world helps us discover things we cannot imagine, we could have never done internally.
This is a hot and turbulent time, so as an entrepreneur or developer, it's important that you keep your ear to the ground for inspiration for your new projects, or maybe you're looking to start a company. Being knee deep in this space, I see a ton of interesting workflows that users are forcing ChatGPT to do. I wanted to aggregate them so you have them all in one space. There's a small list of friends who get these updates delivered to their inbox. I don't do it daily or weekly, but just rather when I have good content to share. If you'd like to follow along or get this Notion doc, then you can check out the link in the description. All right, let's jump into it and check out some cool ideas. All right, so here we have our list of early signal ideas. And again, if you want this delivered to your inbox, you can either sign up here or check out the link in the description. But down below, we have a table and we're gonna review the hot ideas. So each idea is gonna have a heat level, and that's my personal assessment on whether or not this idea is hot or not. Let's jump through these and let's do the first 5, the first hot ones. All right, so the first idea spotted out in the wild. Here's a list of LLM ops/infra products I want to exist. This is from Sam Whitmore. She's a very good follow on Twitter if you would like to get some good content here. Synthetic email or calendar data for a person with a particular user story profile that sits behind a mock Google API. I think that this is super interesting for a lot of reasons. Not only is it super helpful to have a mock API that you can go and query into, having dummy data is actually a pretty big problem. And so if you could provide dummy data, but then also have personas for that dummy data, and then do it across all the other different APIs that users may want to do, I think that that could be really cool. So A+ idea right here. I think this one's just waiting to be built, and I'm really excited to see this one. All right, next one we're looking at here is just too massive to not even mention. I think a startup's already doing this, but there's plenty of space for cool indie projects to come around with it. AR girlfriends are going to be a huge market. Influencer Karen trained a voice chatbot on thousands of hours of her videos. She started charging $1 a minute for access. That is pretty insane because even if you get like, I don't know how big her following is, but let's just say she has 1,000 people. That's almost $1,000 a minute if they're all using it at the same time. That'd be pretty massive, 72K in the first week. This is a huge opportunity and way too big. I would imagine OnlyFans is going to jump into this world quickly. Next idea we have here is going to be Siki Chen, and he talks about lead qualification and how he has built a homegrown product at runway.co to basically do this. Or is it runway.com? Runway.com, what a great URL. GPT-4 will even write a little nice email ready for them to send into the drafts folder. So what it'll do is it will see that person who just signed up for their product, go and find information about them, and then type up that information, throw it into Slack. And not only that, it's also going to be drafting up an email to that person in the first place, which is going to be personalized. So this is another all-star idea. I think this is just waiting for a business to come in and go do. Next idea is from Sam again. Wow, she's on fire. A bot that will use my product that has a particular user story and a bot that generates reasonable user stories for a particular user profile. Here are 10 workflows that a VC might use, but in their own voice. I like this one, but I want to extend it just a little bit further and add browser automation and browser testing with this. So how cool would it be if you could have a mock, I don't know, grandmother try out your app for you to see how that would go. And then it could embody the persona of that. So then all of a sudden you could have 200 different QA testers of different personas who are going to go in and try to pressure test your app. I think this is another super cool one and just waiting to be happened. The interesting one about this one too is you could actually start this company and just get credentials for the app that you're interviewing, and you could span the entire flow. I think this one's really cool. Browser automation testing with different user personas. Next idea we're going to look at is around SaaS training, around program training. So Ann Albers says, I use it for assistance in using programs like Photoshop, Word, etc. It also helped me fix a problem I had in Dreamweaver for 8 months. That's a long time to be sitting on a bug. I think this is pretty cool here because not only is there inherent knowledge in ChatGPT itself, but you could augment this with more real-time data. So how to use a particular program. Then all of a sudden you own the training for other folks on how to actually do their individual programs. I think this is super cool. Our next idea comes to us all the way over from Reddit. So we have a software developer here. This is Gaz. I have it respond to stuff that I want to bring up with my team to better prepare for meetings. Respond 3 times, once as a project lead, educated user, or once as a malicious user. This is pretty cool because if, say you have an idea that you want to bring to a group of people, it would be pretty cool to know the objections that you might get from that group of people before you bring it up. I think that there's a sweet startup to be started, or at least a side project, where you could propose an idea, and not only does it show you pros and cons, but it may show you how different perspectives might respond. So how would different political parties respond? How would different age groups respond? Et cetera, et cetera. Not only that, but then the side project could actually go ahead and come up with rebuttals to those objections in the first place. So then all of a sudden you have a well thought out and well formulated idea. Awesome. So that's the ideas that we're going to be reviewing today. There's a whole lot more on this Notion doc, and I'll be updating it as I see more in the wild. So make sure to sign up if you want to get the new ideas delivered to your inbox. Also, if any of these ideas are interesting to you, please let me know in the comments. Let me know if I'm on base. If I'm not on base, who knows? If you end up building any of these ideas, please let me know. I'm happy to provide resources, whether that be development resources, I can hook you up with an agency, capital resources, or just purely to lend a helping ear and let you know what I think about them. Awesome. We'll see you later.